Hey everyone, and welcome back to Game 2 of the Grand Finals, where Wet Hair Don't Care is trolling us with the Bastet and a Bakasura being thrown up on there, as well as a Vulcan. There's the Chugga. We can see Hoonbot, Sobek, Hercules, Naja banned out, Chunga, Agni on the board, and Thor locked in here. Looks like they're going to be going for that next. Across the way, you can see Panda Bear picking up Apollo and Athena. The question is, will they go for... Actually, Sobek's banned out, so they can't do their Sobek-Athena thing. That hasn't really been working too much for them.
Yeah, not so far. Seeing Chunga get picked up for the first time, and Thor as well, just because Thor has been banned for days. Thor is like the biggest first pick, first ban material, but instead opting to go with Hercules, making sure he couldn't show up in here, and that allows Chunga and Thor to come through. So we got two people, two very powerful picks we haven't really seen show up yet. As we flip back over and see Raw, and I don't imagine they're going to pick a Raw and Hell, unless they want to stick one in mid. I guess they could do mid Raw to put him up against Agni, to see how well that would do. Because, I mean, Raw has a very good ability to just stand back and at a safe distance and shoot his pew-pew laser beams and clear waves without actually having to worry about anything. So it could be potentially a good counter to Agni just to stay safe.
Yeah, I mean, that mobility is so important. That's why Agni has been a time-honored mid. I mean, he literally has never fallen out of favor. He's been here through thick and thin. We had an Agni Raw lane up in the middle lane. Poseidon came out, then it was Agni Poseidon, and then Isis came out, and then it was Agni Isis. I mean, Agni has been around forever, and he's just so good for so many things. Very mobile, very high damage output, especially with penetration. We're going to have Neith and Bacchus on the table here for Polar Bear. Their final lineup's going to be Thor, Chunga, Agni, and Neith. Neith and Bacchus going to be going in that long lane. We'd have Chunga in the solo short lane, Agni in the middle lane, and Thor in the jungle. It's actually the first time we've seen a Thor jungle all day long, and I'm excited to see it. Thor is definitely one of those exciting characters to watch, one of the biggest turnaround ultimates and teamfight presences that you'll see in the entire game of Smite. Loki now on the table there for Panda Bear. Looks like they're going to lock that in, so it looks like they're going to have a Loki jungle, Apollo, and Athena. Oh, they actually could go for a Hell middle lane, or they could do Raw in the middle lane. Actually, you know what? They're probably going to have Loki in the solo short lane, Apollo and Athena in the long lane, and then probably a Hell in the short lane. Actually, what? This is a crazy lineup.
Okay,
They could a lot of things they could do here.
They're probably going to do Loki jungle, Raw mid, Hell solo lane, and then Athena Apollo line lane. I can't imagine. I don't see them doing really anything else here. Just because
It's just the Hell and the Raw and which way they're to go.
I'm sure that Hell is going to be the one going into the short lane just to go up against the Chunga, because she doesn't really care a whole lot for Chunga's shenanigans, and she can poke back just as hard as Chunga wants to poke.
I'm excited to see how much healing they put out by the end of this match. Raw and Hell on the same team, but they do have a Chunga on the enemy team, so it may kind of counteract that. I mean, Chunga, a lot of healing done from that. So a lot of heals this match, but definitely a lot of kill potential with Agni, Neith, Thor, Loki, Apollo, Hell. There's a lot of damage. Raw got the snipes, the laser beams of justice, so definitely a lot of kill potential here. But we're going to cut to a going live soon screen while we wait for the spectator delay to go forward. So definitely grab your snacks, grab your popcorn, grab your drinks, and be ready. This is Game 2 of the Grand Finals, best of 3. Polar Bear is up 1 game. Panda Bear is down 1 game. So if Polar wins this, they will take it all. But if Panda wins this, they have to play another game in Game 3. So the question is, what will happen in this match and who will be victorious? We'll cut to a screen here so you get yourself ready, and we wait for the timer to get the game ready to go. And once it's ready, we'll bring it up on screen. So definitely stick around. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Game 2 of the Grand Finals. We are underway and ready to go here. We have Polar Bear up against Panda Bear. Polar Bear is up 1 match. So we can see, wait for this to get low. There it goes. Polar Bear is up 1 match in this series, and Panda Bear is down 1. So if Polar Bear wins this, they will win it all. Panda Bear has to win this match to even push it to a Game 3. So they're in a tough spot here, and they're definitely fighting for that opportunity. We see Hell a little bit late here. It looks like it might have an invasion attempt coming from Polar Bear. They know they're up 1 game, and they want to stop this from the beginning. You can see all 5 players from Polar Bear heading out of the gate and going around the backside of the Gold Fury. This could prove fatal. Now, of course, it looks like Hell hasn't loaded into the game yet or hasn't bought any items. Now, there she is. So Hell's not going to be there in time. If they go quickly enough, they're not going to see this coming. They have no wards placed down. Polar Bear wants blood.
They're doing it. They're doing it. Here they go. They're going on the thing. Athena completely unaware. There's the Spirit Arrow rooting her. Bacchus comes in with the belly flop. She's up in the air. So much damage going down on Athena right now, but they're unable to finish it off as Thor ends up in the mid lane by himself. And now suddenly Thor in a really stupid position I don't know if he's just trying to distract him or if he just made the dumbest mistake of his life, chasing way too hard there. I don't know why he spilled out in the middle lane like that when the whole rest of his team pulled back and went to the mid camp. I don't know what he was thinking, but now he's dead and not thinking anymore.
Yeah, it was just a bad choice in direction there. As you see, Baka's kind of getting railed into. In fact, looks like they're actually going to take out a whole bunch of his HP and force him back. They ended up getting the gold, the camps, the Harpy camps as well. So Panda Bear, despite being invaded upon, are now up 800 gold and have a bit of an experience difference as well. 0 and 1. Polar Bear starts us off the opposite direction of what they wanted to do. Now, what could have been better there for Polar Bear is if they went, instead of going directly towards the middle lane, if they went around the damage buff and came from behind and waited for them to start, they definitely could have got a better kill there instead of coming from the side a little bit early. So that was an awesome attempt and something that could have proved to be very, very effective for them, but just poorly executed.
Yeah, they really do need to pull around from the back. I was sort of confused. I thought they were just deciding to run the enemy team off and not start a fight when they just came right in from the side there. Because, I mean, like you said, really, all they had to do is walk away. As we saw, they had to use their W keys and ride to freedom, casually walking off into the distance because they didn't come around and flank that. And that early kill going on to the jungle Loki, I mean, someone they really don't want to start off with getting fed here, as he's going to show up behind Agni, who's just going to path the flames away to freedom. I mean, it's Agni. You got to do something. You got to try a little harder if you're going to try and gank up with Agni, because he's going to have that dash.
We're going to see Bacchus and Neath holding down this left lane. Apollo and Athena, of course, higher level because they were part of a kill, as well as the fact they ended up getting those camps in the middle lane, and Neath and Bacchus had to go home. Neath now catching up a little bit to the Apollo, level 3 now on that Athena. Bacchus just hitting level 2, so full level up on those support tanks. That's going to mean an extra ability or an extra point into ability, which gives you more base damage, of course, more CC opportunity. Damage buff being picked up here by Chunga and the Thor. Chunga's just going to help him out here. Does have the blue buff on Chunga. Blue buff is a very good buff to have on a character like Chunga, who can seriously just sit in the lane, farm, and say, hey, Jade Rabbit, go get me some items, and get that back to her and just kind of hang out for a while as Hell pushes this lane up, but Chunga's just going to go ahead and clear this out herself. And of course, she does have the heal potential to eat these minions for just a bit. Middle lane looks like we have Thor running into Ra in the jungle, as well as Loki trying to get this out. Blinks out just in time, and looks like they're going to try and contest this middle camp here.
Chunga taking totally insane damage from the minions, actually almost going down to the ocean of archers that Hell had built up there, as Thor goes in and manages to bogart those Furies from right underneath Loki and Ra's face, just because they didn't have a whole lot they could really say about it. I mean, they didn't have a whole lot of contention there. Chunga come back out pushing hard back against Hell, trying to poke her down and do the damage she can do. Unfortunately, the problem is both of these gods here, their early push requires on them getting up to point-blank range because they have very short-range cones or PoEs that they rely on to clear the lane. Chunga going out to meet her rabbit and make sure she gets this item a little sooner.
Stream Pain comes out from Ra to clear out that middle lane, gonna be heading home most likely. Oftentimes you see that, and there he goes. You just use the cooldown to get home, make sure the lane is cleared, and you can get back into the lane just in time. Hell's actually dropping quite low over here in the right lane, getting focused back by that Chunga. Chunga taking a lot of damage by the minions in the process. Hell's gonna heal herself back up from near death. The HP is so incredibly low there on Hell, even after the heal. I'm not sure how she's even alive right now, but she's gonna have to go home and pick up a teleport, whereas Chunga can just hang out here and get some farm and some experience. Looking at the two items there, we see a Breastplate Devour tier 2 for the Chunga, so she can eat minions, whereas the Hell ends up going for a Chronos Pendant and decides to not finish it off and go into tier 2 of Boots.
Really interesting decision from the Hell there. And as we can see in that solo lane so far, like we said before, Chunga is a pretty decent... Chunga's pretty... Alright, it's not really... Neither of these guys really counter each other. It's a good fight. Hell's build is a little weird, and Chunga's got a big experience advantage right now, as she is already... she was 2 levels up, now she's only 1 level up on the Hell, so had her ultimate available. I mean, she's got the farm advantage, she's got the damage advantage, able to outpush a Hell, when normally a Hell wouldn't have a hugely terrible problem pushing back against a Chunga, because she has a much more damaging short-range spell she can use every time the Chunga tries to get in range for her little moonlight dance.
Yeah, I mean, that's all they really need to do. And, a Hell versus Chunga lane, there isn't really much potential for kills unless either one of them screws up pretty hard. Versus like a Ra who has a big burst ultimate. Chunga does have a really burst ultimate herself, so Chunga probably has more potential to get a kill than the Hell does, especially since she's doing a little bit better. We check in on the individual numbers here. We can see 2,000 healing drop down by the Chunga, as well as 1,800 from Hell and 2,400 from Ra. A lot of healing going to happen in this match. These team fights are going to be big. Here comes a dunk in from the Thor, who's going to miss after the moves comes out. Berserker Barrage to clear the minion wave out of frustration and head back into the jungle there while the Neath goes home herself. Middle lane Agni's going to push up the Ra into the enemy tower and almost get a kill here. He has no meteors left. Ra, does he have an ultimate? He does have an ultimate available, but of course nothing he can really do with it besides to clear out the wave and head on home.
Which is probably what we're going to see him do as we see the minions showing up here. Ra just kind of hanging out in the back. He's going to float forward. He's going to wait and make sure he's out of range, and Agni's not going to do anything unpleasant to his skull. And is actually not going to blow the ultimate. Figured he would just be throwing that one down and going home after that, but he's going to take the healing opportunity just to make sure. I mean, he's got such a good heal. He can leverage that to try and get his health back up, get back into a position where he can fight. But unfortunately, while that happens, Agni is going to be able to secure the mid camp pretty easily.
Athena, Loki, and Ra can come over here to take out this camp themselves, but of course it already is gone. They're waiting for it to respawn. They know the time. They're going to heal up right here. It looks like it should be coming back soon unless they just completely botch the timer rotation. Agni's going to come from the backside there, jump on top of the Ra. There goes initiation on top of that. Loki's going to use his ultimate, trying to pick him off, and there is the beam of justice hitting Agni right in the forehead, and down he will go as the first kill, like the second kill for Panda Bear comes out, and Polar Bear is now falling a little bit behind.
Just a little bit, though. Not even quite 1,000 gold. And, I mean, really, Agni didn't have any vision. He didn't know everybody was going to be there. He jumped in. He tried to do his thing. He didn't know he was jumping right into a three-man bushwhack. That was the smite equivalent of face check in the bush right there. As Thor tries to dunk down here, and he does manage to land on the Hell, but it's not going to be enough to finish her off, but the Neath ultimate certainly is. She's not going to be able to float away from that one. And then Chonga is just going to dance up here, clear out the minion wave as best as she can. Make sure that she can get this pushed up so her minions do a lot of damage to the tower while she's gone. And she's probably going to head on home. She
Needs
don't
to
want
be
to hurry
careful,
though,
though.
Loki's coming.
Loki's rotating over on the jungle. Does he have an ultimate? He does not. He might be able to come in on this. She has no mana, nothing to save herself. There's initiation of Athena ultimate just in case, and she will lose her life again. If you're going to push up like that, you have to make it very, very brief because people will start to rotate over and punish you for your greed. So Chunga probably should have just eaten a few tower shots and headed on home instead of staying there to clear that wave. That lane clear was a little bit slow, and looks like Loki's going to come over and get a free kill. So that'll be the free kill, the first kill on the board there. 3-1 now. Panda Bear is up 3 kills, but Polar Bear is now on the board. Checking on the situation, we see 737 in gold for Panda Bear, as well as 900 experience for Panda Bear. So they're definitely taking a little bit of a lead here, but again, it's very, very nominal. Individual numbers here, we see we have 505 experience per minute for the Agni. Contrast that to the enemy mid at Ra. Ra's actually out getting more experience than the Agni himself, but contrast that to the gold, 315 gold per minute on Loki. The highest on Polar Bear is going to be, it looks like 249 on the Chang'e. So a lot more gold to be had on Panda Bear, on Loki specifically, who of course is 2-0-1.
Absolutely, and I mean, putting the kills on him, obviously he's going right into a Heartseeker now, as he's been having a lot of success with his jungling so far. Loki's ganks, I mean, he may have fell out of favor as a jungler just because of the bit of issues he has with clearing, but he's still got such ridiculously powerful ganks. He's going to go with that Heartseeker. He's going to do so much damage. He's just going to be ripping people down like they're nothing. We see Agni Meteors coming down over here trying to take this mid camp as Thor goes up in the air as Athena was going in on him. Apollo flying around as well, just kind of circling the area, looking for clearance to land, and he dunks down by his own tower and just decides to disengage from this one.
There's a Celestial Beam on the ground and cleared out that wave. Agni throws out a meteor and gets a stun off in the meantime. No stacking items for Polar Bear, but 2 Heartseekers being started for Panda Bear on both Apollo and the Loki. We have a Shoes of Focus for the Rog to get the CDR, cast more spells and more heals specifically. Seems like Panda Bear just wants to keep themselves alive. They realize that Polar Bear, from last match, is a very, very aggressive team, and of course if they have 2 heals keeping themselves alive through that initiation, they're able to win out overall. But we see aggressive positioning here on the left side as Loki comes from the backside. They actually get a blink right when Neath backflips and misses the initiation. I think he's going to come in for a taunt. There's the Intoxicate doing lots of damage. Neath is actually going to root the Athena in place. But unfortunately enough, a bit of an unfortunate position for Loki. Pops the ultimate the second the Neath backflips and whiffs the entire initiation.
That was probably the worst luck in the history of life. I mean, that was nothing done wrong with Loki. He popped his everything he had. He was stealth. He had aim strike up. He threw down his ult to just jump in and blow up that Neath like nothing. And just happened to be the microsecond she backflipped. And with the Athena there, able to lay down her taunt, Apollo there with his mez, I mean, she would not have been able to backflip away from that once the chain of death had started. Just horribly unfortunate timing.
Yeah, definitely. It's a missed opportunity for them there, but of course they are still ahead by a slight margin. So there's not, nothing really lost besides the opportunity for more of a lead. We see Heartseeker being started up here for the Neath. Neath has yet to die and has a good kill on her as well, so definitely a good position. Ended up using her ultimate to get the kill on the Hell in the right lane. Gonna be the first kill on the board. We see 2 Sentry Wars being picked up by Agni, who decides he wants to go for a Spear of the Magus first. A lot of penetration can come from that, especially from someone like Agni, who can use his Path of Flames or his Passive Combustion to get those stacks up on the Spear of the Magus, which of course is the best magic penetration item in the game until very, very late.
And even very, very late, I mean, your enemies have got to have a ridiculously large amount of protections for Obsidian Shard to ever be worth picking up. Just because Obsidian Shard does nothing but percentage-based reduction. We see Thor showing up here in the right lane, Hell just getting torn to pieces by that Duncan Berserker's Barrage, but Thor almost trading his life for it. Getting pretty close. Went relatively low there. And then Neath in the left lane able to pick up Apollo as well. And with those kills coming out left and right, that is going to leave us at 3-3. With a 200 gold difference between the teams.
Right lane, Chonga's going to defend this up quite well. She's at level 12. Checking in on the numbers, we can see about a 374 XP per minute on Loki, contrasted to enemy jungle at Thor, who's at the exact same amount. Actually, the jungles are pretty even. Looking at the middle lane, we see 534 XP per minute on Agni. Ra is sitting at about 550, so Ra is still getting more experience than the Agni, but looking at the gold per minute, we see 267 on Agni, and Ra is sitting at about 293. So Ra is definitely winning the middle lane by a wide margin, but the solo lane, Hell is a bit behind the Chonga. Chonga's about 272, whereas the Hell is 242. So pretty small margins, but Chonga is far, far out leveling the Hell, who's at level 11 versus the level 13 Chonga.
Yeah, she's definitely getting a lot of experience. She's been able to stay in lane a lot more. She's only gone down once versus the Hell, who's gone down twice. And now Bacchus is just sort of in the neighborhood, just kind of waiting for his moment to take Hell out drinking. He wants to make a new pub buddy here. Looks like he's just kind of going to waddle out into the lane. He's fat, drunk, and confused. He's not really sure what he's doing. He's just lost and sort of wandering around the jungle.
Agni's going to throw out a Flame Wave there and clear out the middle lane. Looks like Athena, Ra, and Loki are all in the left side jungle. Going to try and get some buffs up. Thor's up in the air, looking for opportunity to dunk down on this Hell. The Bacchus goes up into the air. The ultimate comes out from underneath as well. Thor going to respond with a double stun, and Hell is dead again. They are punishing this Hell so much, and it's going to be their easiest way to get back into this lead here. In fact, they have just barely pulled ahead in gold, 454 now. The first gold lead of the game for Polar Bear, but look at the experience difference. It looks like after those engagements, as well as the good split of Neath just farming the left lane solo and Chunga being parts of lots of kills, they're up 2,500 experience now. It looks like the right side tower is under pressure and about to fall. In fact, it'll fall to minions. A free tower pickup. Checking back on the graph, look at the spike. You can see a huge 1,000 gold jump, as well as a big jump in experience on top of everything else. About a 900 experience jump from that. And that was literally for free. They got a kill in the jungle, Hell gone, and now they're going to pick that up. But it looks like Searing Pain comes out from the Raw, just barely missing the Audi, who dashes away. Celestial Beam comes out. A few meters actually going to miss. Both meters miss, in fact. Chunga's going to come to the jungle looking for opportunity to help out the Agni, but no real need to do so, as Polar Bear has pulled ahead in the golden experience charts and are now in the lead for the first time this match.
Yeah, but they're doing a pretty good job of pressing this advantage after taking that first tower with the force of minion. Just standing out and trying to distract the members of Team Panda in the jungle, not letting them come around and rotate to defend it. Now it's kind of turned into, like left lane has kind of just turned into a big old solo lane, as the tanks have been off elsewhere for quite some time now. Neath and Apollo have just been alone, settling their differences like men, just duking it out with fisticuffs, and it looks like they're going to try and start this Gold Fury here. Bacchus, Neath, and Thor are all here, but unfortunately, 3 members of Team Panda are right nearby. Hell is going to find them. Raw is going to do this medium camp with Athena, I guess, as they engage on Hell and blow her up. Not really sure what's up with that one. Thor is going to be going up here. Raw ultimate does come out doing a ton of damage to Neith, who backflips out of the charge from Athena, but the taunt does land. Thor dunking down, missing his slam, but he is able to land the Tectonic Grip. Athena is now going to drop her ultimate on Raw. Raw trying desperately to get this to land on Thor, but doesn't quite make it there. The Berserker Barrage doing a lot of damage, and the Agni Meteor is going to be enough to finish off Raw. Now Apollo dropped very low as well. Down he goes to Thor, and then Agni actually picked up in the back by Loki. Loki doing a good job of being an assassin, doing his thing, showing up, murdering somebody, and leaving. Athena probably not going to really get away from this one, as the repeated slashes from Chang'e. If she can just get one more before Athena charges away. Oh no! We heard the V6 revving up. Athena was ready. Her engines were primed, but the cooldown on Chang'e's one is just so short. If Chang'e had not gone Breastplate of Valor first item and Shoes of Focus, Athena would have gotten away.
Yeah, it's something that you really have to be wary of. If you have a long way to run, there's a Chang'e on you, you're going to be taking lots of continual damage, because she's going to sit there with her short cooldown one, just throwing it out repeatedly, doing lots of damage there. I see her running into the middle lane, missing a shot there on the Hell. It's going to try and slow and throw out some damage on herself, but of course you can see Chang'e just healing right back up, and Hell's going to do the exact same. This is the fate of two healing magic damage gods facing off against each other, just kind of harassing and poking. It looks like they still have the right side tower and left side tower down, so Polar Bear is going to shoot even further ahead. They're up to 3,700 gold now, as well as 6,000 experience just because of those towers alone. Loki sitting at 3-0-1 with a Heartseeker. Let's check in on the damage numbers. We're going to see, as far as player damage goes, 6,100 for the Agni, a huge amount of damage there. But for the enemy team, we're actually going to see 5,100 on the Apollo, and below him is 3,000 on Hell. So Panda Bear is just not doing enough damage.
And Neith's trying to hold off basically the entirety of Team Panda Bear here, as the Raw ultimate totally misses, but Loki doing enough damage to finish her off. Apollo dropping in the background as Bacchus and Chang'e rotate around. Loki blew his everything on Neith and doesn't have a whole lot to mop up here. The belch coming out from Bacchus is going to land a good stun on Hell, who's going to purge herself, is trying to get away. Stun from Agni. There's the Thor dunk! The Thor dunk of destiny! Spin to win, wrapping up the deal there, but Athena managing to get away, and we have the same chase going out again. She's going to redirect and go after Raw. Chang'e deciding Athena can live this day, but that's just so spammable. Her one is so ridiculously spammable. At max CDR, it's got like, what, a 2-second cooldown. She just can throw that out over and over and over. And they're going to go ahead and cash in their Fire Giant after that, or Fire Giant, Gold Fury after that 3-for-1 exchange.
A big exchange there for Polar Bear, coming out strong. They're going to Gold Fury on top of everything else. The Hand of the Gods comes out and smashes it down. The gold is flying all around. Loki in the middle lane, look for Agni to jump on top of this Agni. There's the damage. She actually dashes into tower range and tries to burst him down. Loki, just the play toy of Agni at this point. Agni just doing so much burst. And Agni's going to pick up a Divine Ruin as his second item after Boots. I love this pickup with Raw and Hell on the same team, especially since they're playing behind. Panda Bear is going to be counting on that heal a lot. And someone like Agni, who everything he does is AoE, he's going to be applying that passive very, very quickly on as many people as possible, to the point where all people on Panda Bear will be taking half heals that Raw and Hell give out and shut down one of their biggest and strongest chances of winning team fights.
It is very, very powerful. I mean, especially it's a good counter to Raw. Chang'e's 3 is a very good counter to Raw. You see Divine Blessing go down, you drop the 3, suddenly no one's actually really getting healed for anything. Not so much on Hell, because Hell can just kind of wait it out. I mean, unless you happen to hit it right as Hell was already going to heal. I mean, I guess you can preemptively do it right. She flips the light stance. Thor trying to dunk down. Speaking of Hell, coming up behind her right here. Missing his ult completely, but landing way behind her. Tectonic Grip is going to be very good. She is going nowhere, but the backswing of Mjolnir's Tomb, it does miss completely. She might get away with this one. Popping the heal for the speed buff. Recent buff to Hell did add the speed buff back onto her heal. Here comes Loki, doing a lot of damage, but turns around Tectonic Rift and does just as much damage back. The Raw Beam! Oh! Bleaks to freedom! Thor gone. About the frame, the beam came out. Here comes the Agni stuff. Again, about the Chang'e ultimate is going to absolutely secure Hell's death. But unfortunately, Agni is going to go down to Loki's burst damage as well. Now Raw is trying to run for his life. Bacchus comes in there with the belly flop. The belch is going to stun him, and then we're going to have that Chang'e spam Oh, or intoxicate. Or intoxicate. You a drunk chicken. And Loki forced to ult away as they push in to take down this right tower.
We actually saw Loki do a drive-by on Agni on his way out. He didn't even commit very hard. He just walked by, aim strike, vanished, whacked a few times, and kept running. On his way out of the team fight, that was dangerous and killed off the Agni. In fact, that was the only kill that team fight for Panda Bear. They ended up losing 2 of their players in the process. Hell ended up escaping in the beginning when Thor came by, but ended up losing her life anyway, as the burst damage was way too much. Bacchus' ultimate came out right in time. Looks like Neith might be in a bit of trouble here, but actually could probably turn around and fight this though. Here comes Loki. Loki does not have an ultimate, keep in mind, so as she's backing, she may be able to get away from this or not. There's initiation on top. She's going to backflip away, and without an ultimate, there's not a whole lot he can do. He needs to get in range. There's a spear hitting him right in the chin. He beats it. He wants this so very bad. Can he get his ultimate off in time? Thor goes up in the air. Athena's going to come out. There's the confound shield wall to come out pretty soon here. There's a shield wall a little bit late there, unfortunately enough, not going to land. I think if she shield walled and confounded afterwards, she could have got that kill. There's Athena jumping in on top of the Loki. Thor going to go in and get some damage then on that Apollo, who drops very low on critical HP, and Thor's going to disengage. So all in all, nothing being picked off there. If Loki had his ultimate, that would have been an easy kill, but that is not the case.
Yeah, forced to use it to blink away just a minute ago in the right lane for freedom. So, I mean, I guess it's probably good he doesn't have it. Here comes the Neith ultimate. Athena trying to take it with her face here, and she does manage to catch that. Intoxicate coming out from Bacchus, landing the drunk on Apollo and Athena, as Bacchus just tanks the tower with his manly face here. Loki trying to come in, doing some damage on the Bacchus, actually dropping him pretty low, bursting pretty hard. Loki hurts right now. He is doing a lot of damage, and Team Polar is forced to pull back.
Checking back on the charts, we can see a 5,500 gold lead for Polar Bear. They're also at 9,000 experience lead overall. The individual numbers will reflect that. As you can see, 10.6 thousand healing done by Chung. Compare that to Hell, who's at 4,300, and Ra at 4,100. So if you combine the healing of Hell and Ra together, Chung is beyond that by over 2,000 healing. So Chang'e, very, very strong healer. Not only that, but she's also much more farmed and higher level on top of everything else. Looking at the player damage, you see 9,300 done by Neith and 9,000 done by Agni. Contrast that enemy team again, we see the same situation. 8,600 done by Apollo, but below him is 5,700 by Loki. Now keep in mind, Agni does AoE damage, but Neith does mostly single target damage and is still far and away the highest damage done in the entire game. So they're just doing so much. Actually, I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong chart there. Both Hell and Ra have the same amount of healing as the Chang'e. I was reading the damage there, so of course the damage done is very small there by Hell and Ra, but the healing is pretty close.
Absolutely, and we do see, of course, they're starting to counteract that a bit as Agni has picked up Divine Ruin, now trying to counteract even further the Hell and Ra healing, on top of what Chang'e already does simply by being Chang'e. So Agni being in the fight is going to mean a lot of their healing is going to be shut down. It's going to be difficult for them to survive. Stun comes out from Agni, speaking up. Here's the Tectonic Rift and Berserker's Breath. So much damage! So much damage! Athena ultimate not nearly enough to save Hell's life. The Neith ultimate coming out on Ra as they try to run him down. Meteor is a complete whiff. Neith just laying down some auto attacks there. I mean, even just the one auto attack. Look how much damage that did. Tectonic Rift just kind of hold Ra back there. There comes the laser beam that just hits Bacchus, who doesn't care a whole lot. And Ra is so low. He's wiggling. He's wiggling his very hardest, and he is going to get away here. Here comes Loki coming in as Neith backflips out of it again. How does this keep happening? Athena dropping very low. Loki forced to pull back before he could make anything happen there. They laid down a lot of damage on this tower, and now they're going in to finish. But here comes Apollo from behind. They are just trucking in here, one after the other, coming up from the back. Thor is going to drop, but so is the tower, and so very well may Apollo as he drops incredibly low. Chang'e barely clipping him with the edge of her dance, and then the ultimate on another dance to finish off Athena. That ultimate securing the double kill for Chang'e. We are now looking at 16-7 in favor of Team Polar Bear on the kill board, and what has turned into an over 8,000 gold advantage.
Well, soon to be bigger as well. They're going to pick up that damage buff on the ground and go directly to the Gold Fury, a free 1,500 gold on top of everything when it's said and done. They traded Thor for 2 kills and a tower, and that's a trade that pretty much everyone except for Thor would be happy to make, I'm sure. But definitely a great trade for Polar Bear. A tower plus 2 kills in favor of the death for Thor. They're getting a lot of golden experience from that, as well as the Gold Fury, who's going to fall guaranteed by Polar Bear. There's the Gold Fury being finished off. Checking back in on the 8,000 gold lead, it's going to turn immediately into a 9,700 gold lead for them, as well as a 13,000 experience lead. They are far ahead of Panda Bear right now, looking very, very sharp. You can see about 2,000 gold in hand on Neath, as well as 1,600 in hand on Bach. Is going to go home and pick up some items. Neath sticking in the lane here. Checking in on the items that Neath has now, she should have enough to finish up the second tier of that Deathbringer and be finishing off quite soon, actually. Probably, she's only died once, and it was quite some time ago, so a fully stacked Heartseeker, an Executioner, and a Deathbringer means that Neath is going to be hitting like a effective truck. Agni took the hit for his team and decided to pick up that Divine Ruin, which is a cheap item but doesn't provide a lot of damage there. So now going to go directly into Rod to get caught back up and be relevant in the damage output again. But of course, with the overall effectiveness that a team has, especially that Chunga's now going for a Gem of Isolation, the kill potential is going to be so high for Polar Bear.
And we see, speaking of builds, Loki now building into that Hydra's Lament there, an item that we see picked up pretty much on nobody but Loki's occasionally, just for that extra bit of burst. Oh my god, every ult in the planet just got dumped on Apollo's face. I don't feel like that was necessary, Polar Bear. I don't feel like that was necessary. I think you could have killed it perfectly fine without throwing every ultimate known to man onto his forehead. But it's done now, so I guess no going back in time here. And they're going to go over with that dead Apollo and with everyone effectively scared off of the right side of the map. And they are going to try to pick up a Fire Giant before Panda Bear can react.
Well, the biggest thing is just preventing him from being able to use his ultimate. They want to burst him out as quickly as they can so he can't fly away. And you can't fly away if you're getting triple ulted into the dirt. So definitely something that Polar Bear wanted to get a pick there, for reason being they wanted to get the Fire Giant. It's much, much safer and almost, compulsory that you get at least one pick before you attempt an objective like that. So, they're down one man and they can't come out and defend the Fire Giant or possibly even steal it away, because they will be fighting from behind, not only in golden experience but also in the amount of players. So right lane's going to be pushed down here by Polar Bear. Already in the jungle doing some work and poking down the Loki, who might turn around on him actually, see if he decides to go for it. But here comes the entirety of Polar Bear. He sees it and he's like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and heads back into the middle lane there to disengage. All 5 players for Polar Bear heading back to his right lane. Looks like Apollo is back up and able to fight for his team yet again to earn some honor. Hell being forced back. Belly flop will throw Apollo into the air, and Apollo looks like he's going to fall yet again. He's so low. Loki jumps in the backside, finishing off the Agni, and that's going to be the first kill of this team fight. Apollo survives. Bacchus is now dead. The Phoenix is still alive. The Berserker Brother comes out, and there goes the Hell. But tanking the tower is going to be that Chang'e, who's still alive somehow. Burst damage come down to Neath. Neath will fall. There's the dunk from the Thor. Isn't going to be enough. They're so aggressive here. There's the Mjolnir's Attunement. Not enough to finish off the Loki. Looks like they're still got the Chang'e. Thor going to take some damage from the tower as well as the Ra. There is the Divine Blessing slowing him down. Athena right on top of his face and a free kill on the Thor. Chang'e going to be the only one to escape, or will she? Apollo getting closer and closer. There's the Athena as well. The So Beautiful comes out. She gets the heal off, but here's the taunt to fall up right up. There's a shield wall. The taunt actually misses because of her too. She's still alive. She's running towards the mid tower, which is still up. The Serenade comes down. There's the heal, keeping herself alive. The regeneration from the Fire Giant buff and his own heals may be enough. She pops her 2 again. There is the damage output. She's still going. Chang'e doesn't want to quit. Loki comes in to end it all, and indeed he does, as Chang'e finally falls to dance no more, but the minions will kill Apollo in the process. So Chang'e gives way to Mary Chase and trades herself for an Apollo and buys some time for her team. Excellent play there. That delayed them for quite some time. And now they're going to get 1, maybe 2 towers as the teleport comes in.
That was the best Juke-a-palooza I have ever seen by anybody. Chang'e was not having any of their shenanigans. Agni teleporting in there, but here is the Loki ultimate doing about 80% of Agni's health. A 304 crit into his butthole. Almost kills him, but he is okay. Run, little Agni, run. Run and be free. Oh boy, what are we doing? What are we doing?
We have to watch that again.
The 304 butthole crit?
Yeah, so see the Chang'e kill in the middle lane, the first tower will end up falling here. So we're going to see how this works out. Now, I really want to highlight the play by Agni here. This is going to be a very tough proposition for Agni, coming in on 4 players in the middle lane, trying to 3 players in the middle lane trying to defend this up. So there's a teleport star. Let's drop down about quarter speed. He's going to jump in and watch the first thing that he does. He immediately goes hard. He knows he has to get them off his tower. So he comes in, appears, he gets slowed, and the first thing he does is drops 3 meteors and some damage. There's the stun on the the ground. There's the flame wave to come out as well. There's the one meteor. He's going to throw out a second meteor. He's going to throw a third meteor and force him back. Look at Athena taking so much damage. Loki jumps on top of him. And what he's going to do, instead of going backwards, he's going to dash immediately. He doesn't want to get bursted down. The damage over time effect, he's going to hit the Loki. We're going to speed up just a bit. He's dropping lower. There's the flame wave. And as soon as the hit's about to come out from the Loki, the 304, he pops the Enchantment. Ra decides that he's going to try and pick this up after, but you see Loki dropping very low. There's the Intoxicate, and the tower shot is going to be enough. Agni's going to survive from one last hit from the tower, and look at his HP right now. He is so very low. Gets away with a very small amount of HP, and they're going to disengage as Loki survives with his life. But overall, that's going to be an Apollo and a Ra dead. They're going to get one tower. Obviously, they get all 5 players for that team fight, but when it's all said and done, we still see a 7,700 gold lead for Polar Bear, as well as an 11.5 thousand experience lead.
If that Agni's Aegis would have ended a millisecond sooner, that last Ra auto attack would have been enough to finish it off. But that auto attack hit what looked like pretty much in 1/8 speed, the same frame as the Aegis wore off, and just didn't register damage. Just literally any minuscule amount of time later. Any immeasurable quantity of time later. And that would have hit Agni in his forehead and killed him. So such a ridiculously lucky draw. Such a close play. Such great aggression by Agni, trying to make sure he keeps that tower alive and somehow gets away with his life.
So right now we're just seeing Neith finishing off that Deathbringer, going right into Titan's Bane. This will shred any target she decides to stick onto. An incredible gold lead for them will allow them to buy these kind of items. We see 20 and 12 for Polar Bear, a great amount of advantage going into every aspect of the game. Ra's going to finish off a Gem of Isolation here. Loki decided to go for the Hydra's Lament, as previously mentioned, and now right into the Titan's Bane. So with the Jotun's Wrath, the Warrior Tabi, and the Titan's Bane, he's going to be doing a lot of burst damage, and that Hydra's Lament will give him a little bit extra oomph to try and burst down a single target. It looks like the Athena just barely got away there with her ultimate in the last second of that. She's going to heal up just a bit when she lands on top of Hel and Ra as well, but have to disengage her. Apollo's going to do a split push, see if anyone has any teleports. It looks like Chang'e has a teleport on her person, and there goes Neith. Neith actually went home, picked up a teleport, and is going to be probably teleporting to this lane, and indeed she does, so she's going to defend it. And right when Apollo thought he was cool, he's going to have to head on home here. I don't think he wants to trade with this Neith. This Neith is very powerful. There's the moves coming out, and look at the 509 crit right into the chin as we drop back over this team fight over here. Apollo goes up into the air, going to try and jump down. Thor actually misses ultimate. Loki pops the aim strike. There's a tectonic grip, and Mjolnir's attempt to blink out just in time. The taunt comes out, but it only hits the Bacchus, and Bacchus cares not for the harassment. The Neith ultimate goes around everyone and hits Loki in the back as Apollo finishes off the Agni by dunking down on top of him. Thor and Bacchus might be able to pick up this Apollo themselves. There's a great tectonic grip. Mjolnir's attempt going to land. Berserker Barrage will come out soon. He has no mana to do it. A few hits will do it. Here comes Ra to heal him back up, and Thor's going to be forced to retreat. There's the taunt. This slow comes out from the Ra, going to force him back here. Chang'e's going to heal him right back up, but Neith's going to fall into the Apollo role by pushing this left side tower, and actually provided her ultimate to finish off the Loki, who of course had that Heartseeker and lost some stacks.
So Neith is going to split push this tower over here. Did anybody else see Baki? I'll talk about it in a second. He's getting taunted here. Trying to drop a Spirit Arrow, gets Apollo, but not anyone else. Getting run down by the Ra right out of range of that slow, but she's going to run into Hel and Apollo and get taken down here at the side before she can get away. Okay, seriously. Did anyone else see Bacchus ult the blue buff camp and then just walk away and leash it? Like, but am I alone there?
I didn't see it.
Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that was about.
It's about sending a message.
Point is, he's trying to intimidation factor. Panda Bear are going to take this Gold Fury now that they have slapped down a couple members of Polar Bear and forced the rest of them home. The Bacchus is searching for more buff camps to ult. And I don't know what to make of that. My brain, I don't understand.
Let's go ahead and look at the individual numbers here as far as healing goes. Healing is going to be 22,000 for Chang'e, 20,000 for Ra, and 15,000 for Hel. That Divine Ruin seems to be doing some great amount of effect up against Panda Bear, reducing the healing done by Hel by a whole lot. Of course, Hel has a little bit less of an opportunity to heal as the Solar Blessing kind of comes down and gets everyone out. Looks like we have a pause coming out. It doesn't look like we have a disconnect just yet, but we may have one coming soon, or possibly some kind of orientation thus far. Looks like Neith ended up got picked off there in the left lane, surrounded by 4 enemy players, and will be losing her life. Still don't see any disconnects here. We have a Polynomicon being picked up here by the Ra, strangely enough. So we have a Hydra's Lament and Polynomicon on the same team.
definitely going to lay down a lot of burst damage because both of them are going to be able to pop an ability and then just have that one nuclear auto attack. Already Loki, like we said before, likes the Hydra Net sometimes just because it's that added burst. It gives Ra the ability to actually put threatening amounts of damage down on a single target. Because Ra's big problem is outside of his ult, he really doesn't do that much for damage. He's kind of supporty. But with that Polynomicon, that suddenly gives him the ability to actually be a serious threat people need to worry about because he will hurt you. If you let him hit you with lasers, lay down a Solar Blessing, and get some Polynomicon hits in there, that's a lot of damage Ra's suddenly able to deal.
Yeah, a big amount of burst, and then looking to pick off characters like the Agni, Thor, or the Neith. The Neith especially is an easy one to pick off there. If her backflip's on cooldown, they recognize it. Thor, a little bit less so with the stun, the block, and the teleport. Tough situation. Looks like everything has been sorted out. And they're back in the match, ready to go. It looks like all towers are down for Panda Bear, as we've seen them pressure Phoenixes repeatedly. Polar Bear still has 3 towers remaining, so that attributes a lot to the lead that they have right now, and Panda Bear is going to be looking to take those down.
And absolutely, they're going to push through and see what kind of stuff they can make happen here. They've obviously not in a great place, Panda Bear, right now. They're trying to get some sort of foothold back up as Apollo split pushes away, and then ults just at the sight of Chunga before she can even show up and do anything to him. Thor getting singled out, though, and now Bacchus is suddenly kind of alone. Dropping an Intoxicate, but he's kind of got pretty much everyone going ham on him. There's the Raw Beam. He's got his team showing up to support him from behind here, so no one can really be able to chase him down and finish him off because Bacchus, I mean, Bacchus just so very tanky, so very, very tanky that even with a 5-man focus like that, he only lost about half his health.
Yeah, he took a lot of damage there in harassment. Ate it like a man and ran away. Unfortunately, Thor got caught out there behind the Gold Fury camp. Lost his life. That's going to slow down the attempt here. They're going to go over to the Fire Giant buff, make sure that Panda Bear doesn't steal it away, because that will delay the game a lot if Panda Bear can pick this up and put them back into this. Of course, that Fire Giant buff counts for a whole lot. It's a very important buff. There's the counter warding, and just as it fades, of course, they do have a ward inside the Fire Giant. I still saw that. Unfortunately, they didn't see it as it was on top of the Fire Giant. A very common strategy to put the wards on the Fire Giant, so it's hard to hit the right hitbox. Sometimes you accidentally leash the Fire Giant or miss the ward or something along those lines. So definitely that backup ward saved them. Right lane's going to be attempted to be pushed down by Panda Bear. A bit of a greedy proposition here as all 5 players are available minus the Agni, who's back in the lane. Box comes in for the Belfast Mips. The Belch of the Gods gets interrupted, unfortunately enough. Agni goes in for initiation. Neith backs off. Apollo's inside of the tower, whacking at it, and jumps away while they're fighting. They didn't even notice them back there. Apollo gets out just in time. Look, the Belch of the Gods going to come up from Bacchus yet again, but Bacchus taking a lot of harassment here from the Apollo, especially just railing into his backside. Neith is going to force them to disengage here. There's a Spear Arrow coming out from the Neith. They're going to backflip away. So a free tower for Panda Bear, and they may be trying to go for an attempt at Fire Giant.
Looks like they're definitely gathering around as Athena actually kind of ran right through. I don't know if they're going to go for it. Looks like they're actually going to be going home, so no one's really going to push. They're not going to push this advantage because they didn't get any kills. It wouldn't be really worth their while with the Raw and Loki ults down to try and start a big fight when the only ult on Team Polar Bear that's down is Neith's. So they don't want to really get into a big rumble as of yet. They want to fall back. They want to regroup. They want to get their stuff together. I mean, they're coming back. They're doing a decent job of coming back. If you look at the graph, the graph's actually pretty funny looking. This is the least spiky graph I think I've ever seen out of anything. It's just like one big flat plateau that's slowly arcing back downward to neutral as Polar Bear decides to go on a Fire Giant themselves.
Fire Giant getting started here, as Squiddish mentioned here, and you're exactly right, but it's going to be a quick one as they just burn it down and hand to the gods. And now Panda Bear has to face up against not only a gold deficit, an experience deficit, but also the Fire Giant buff gone. They need to be very, very careful with their engagements here, and if it's up to Polar Bear to play this perfectly if they want to end it now. There's initiation on top of the Hell, then Toxic comes out. Loki coming to the backside, looking for opportunity to jump on the Agni. Agni's going to be his main target here. He has the damage buff, and there's Loki. Loki has the window. He's going to go in front. There's the aim strike. The Vantage comes out. He jumps at the Agni. Agni dashes away to save an ultimate to jump on top of it. Can he get it in time? Thor's going to go up. The Searing Pain comes out and finishes off the Agni as he's backpedaling. Thor's in the air. He's going to initiate is the question. They've completely disengaged. He goes for it anyway. There's Tech Rift. He's going to get jumped on by all the players. Blinks away. A Spear Arrow will keep them in place. But look at the healing that Panda Bear has. This is the main point, and by taking out Agni, they lose that Divine Ruin. And just no matter how much damage that Polar Bear puts out, they're going to heal it all back. As you can see, even Ra's getting healed back up. The Solar Blessing is going to come out soon. The heal's going to come out soon. They're just going to keep being replenished, and that's the hardest part about a heal lineup like this for Panda Bear, is you have to end it in one go. You can't poke them down.
Absolutely, just because so much healing there, and with the Agni down, like you said, Divine Rune out of the picture, it might be worth their while to try and pick up another Divine Rune or a Beat Stick even on another god, just so it's not all reliant on just Agni. I mean, Chunga has got a pretty good ability to neuter their healing just by herself with her 3, but she's got to be up in melee range too, and we actually see Beat Stick needs selling off her rage and switching over to a Brawler's Beat Stick, realizing that they have to stop this. They can't let them just keep healing up everything they do. So opting out of what could be monumental damage potential, and I mean, that's a victory for Panda Bear right there. If they cause Neith to sell her rage, sell an item that's going to give her insane damage potential in order to counteract their own healing, that's a big pickup for Panda Bear.
A huge pickup indeed. So not only they have the Divine Ruin, they will have the Brawler's Beat Stick, and of course if Neith gets a good Unravel off, that will apply it to everybody around. But not only that, it also gives her a little bit of crit as well, so she will have the Critical Strike, the Lifesteal, and the health as well as the passive, so it's not like that big of a deal. It gives her a little bit of HP to survive. It looks like Apollo's going to try to head home and get cancelled there. We're sitting at the 37.5 minute mark. Polar Bear is up about 3,400 gold and 9,000 experience. This gold graph is getting smaller and smaller as Apollo comes from a drive-by serenade. Just wants to get some vocal cords out there. As they jump atop the Thor, Thor comes to the right side. Looks like initiation on top of the Bacchus. They need to take a lot of damage from the Loki as well. All 5 players of Panda Bear are grouped up. A good stun from the Audi. The initiation could come. There's a flame wave. Bacchus out of mana. Uses the meditation to get it all back. Neith gets picked up by Loki in the backside. Thor goes up into the air and dunks right back down. 600 comes out as well. The Immortals are cook, and they're just healing so much. How are they going to be able to stop this? Initiation comes out from the Audi. They're about half HP. Actually, now much more than that as held throws out the heal, and they're going to try and pressure this middle Phoenix as Apollo goes in. The Meteor comes out, hitting the Apollo, forcing him backwards. The heal's going to come out from hell yet again. Athena goes in, does not have a taunt. It doesn't seem like she's going to backpedal away, and Thor's going to get jumped on, blinks away. Does Loki have something to clear the gap? Berserker Barrage comes out. There's a slow, and it's not going to be in time as Loki is just making the day so easy for Panda Bear. Picks off the Neith and then picks off the Thor. Both kills so far have been because of Loki, and your positioning has to be so great to prevent that kind of backside opening with Neith kind of hanging out in the back. Loki can just flank and go for it as Apollo goes to split push the right side before they can get home and possibly even get this Phoenix.
He looks like he might be able to because he showed up and he's got a big minion wave right here, and Apollo right now is dumping out a lot of damage. He's got that Heart Seeker and he hasn't gone down in a while, so it's pretty stacked up. He might be able to take it out. It's going to be a bit risky. He's putting on the wiggles. He's juking so hard. That Phoenix has literally no health, but it is alive. One more auto attack would have finished it off, but Apollo forced the pull out, couldn't risk staying in with his ult on cooldown. He got pushed back, and Polar Bear somehow managed to save that one.
Middle tower now under siege by Panda Bear. Initiation comes out from the Meteor as well. Looks like they try and destroy this minion that's kind of just hanging out. A smack into the tower, about half HP, just under that or so for the middle tower. Checking back in on the graphs, after that big team fight win, you can see a gradual decline on the difference here. It ended up going up to about 9,000 gold, and now it's down to about 2,600. A very small lead for Polar Bear, but they're definitely still up. I think they need to stop the healing, and most assuredly prevent Loki from coming from the flank and picking off squishies. He's been doing that the last 3 team fights or so, and that's what's keeping Polar Bear from ending this game or even holding on to their lead, is the fact that Loki just keeps going from the side with a mega flank and picking off somebody before the team fight even starts, which is what Loki does best. Apollo's going to escape because of a great taunt by Athena. She's going to pop her ultimate in response. Neith wants it so very bad. Looks like Apollo might be able to escape here with his life, even though he was out of mana. He did not, actually had an ultimate, no mana to use it, or if he did go up into it, he would land immediately with no mana to travel, and ended up getting away there because Athena is just so awesome at peeling people off. And Thor's going to defend this left tower, but not going to be in time as the tower ends up going down. And with that tower falling, the gold lead turns into an 843 gold lead for Polar Bear. Almost negligible, in fact, very negligible at 40.5 minutes. This game is anyone's game to win, and I think if Polar Bear wants to win this, they have to shut down Loki, or stop the healing, or both.
They need to do something about the 10-1 Loki, because I mean 10-1 Loki with the Heartseeker and Hydra's Lament is a big problem. He's building a Titan's Bane right now, so I mean he's got Executioner, he's got Titan's Bane, he's got Pen Boots, he's got a potion. I mean, you can't counter build him right now. You can't just build physical protection and be okay. It's not going to happen. Loki will teleport in and poop on you with his blink. He doesn't care. He will insta-burst people like he's been doing all game. The Aegis coming out for nothing on Raw. Panic Aegis as his health got pretty low. Hell trying to get away here as she goes down as well. Agni managing to pick up a double kill there. This might be their moment while Loki was gone and away. While Loki was back at base. The kills came out to play. There goes Apollo. It's now down to just Athena and Loki. You see the difference that gets made literally just by Loki not being there. Loki is so much of their team right now. I mean, if you just go ahead, look at their player damage. Loki over 21,000. By thousands, the highest on his team. Loki almost is their team at this point. Athena ulting him, I think, bit of a miscommunication. It looks like Athena was thinking he was going to go in there, but he fell back instead, and it looks like they're going to try and push in and finish this game.
Looks like Loki's gonna jump here on top of the Neath. She's gonna die from the damage over time effect. They're still going for the Minotaur. Minotaur half HP is up to Loki and Athena. A big burst from Loki again kills off the Agni. Now he's going for the Bacchus. Looks like he might be able to get some kills here. Goes on the Bacchus and there's another kill. Actually, Bacchus solo ends up getting a triple kill and forcing them back. The Minotaur drops to about half HP, but leashed so many times to players he kept healing himself up. Now going after Chang'e. Chang'e's gonna be a little bit harder of a target for him to pick off. A great stun, but is it gonna be enough? Is the question Loki wants. Is there's the vanish. There's the aim strike, and now here's Thor. He has 4 kills so far. Thor gets the stun, but Loki isn't done yet. The sprint gets popped. Will Loki chases down is the question. There's the vanish, which might be enough speed to keep him up with it. Does he have an ultimate? He does not. So Loki, after having been gone and lost 3 of his teammates in a big teamfight engagement, the Minotaur was attempted by Polar Bear, and Loki gets 4 kills as they try to do it. And now they're all up, except for, actually, Thor's the only one remaining there on Polar Bear. Everyone's up for Panda Bear as Apollo jumps over the right lane with his ultimate to push down this Phoenix. They're going to be spawning pretty soon, though, so they may not be able to do a whole lot besides get that middle tower there. But again, Loki just putting his team on his back and bearing the burden as much as he possibly can, since he is on Team Bear.
Unofficial quadra there. Loki is carrying so hard right now. He is just doing everything he possibly can. Apollo's over here trying to get this Phoenix. Here's Neath showing up, trying to clear the minions off, pushing Apollo away once again as the rest of his team goes down the mid Phoenix. And as all of Polar Bear Pachunga is starting to respawn here, they're piling in, they're trying to finish this off. Tectonic Rift is going to come out, and Loki is just going to rip down Neath like nothing, stopping her from defending this Phoenix before they go in and try to finish this off. But Loki's getting blown up by Thor, doing a lot of damage, but they're not going to be able to finish it. Thor's going up in the air. He wants this Loki. Is he going to go for it? Probably not. No, he is going to go back to base. He could potentially have traded, and I would say at this point, a 1-for-1 trade to shut down Loki would have been worth it if he could have gotten it, but he would have been diving into a lot of people. So, I mean, that would have been, he would have had to have manliness told of only in Legends to make a sort of dive like that. It takes a special kind of man to dive that hard. But we're just sitting on a 1-for-1 trade right now. ADC for ADC. Neath and Apollo both down.
Well, the 15-1 Loki is still alive, something to keep in mind. Now hopping over the charts, we can see 29, almost 30,000 player damage done by Loki, which in fact is more than Agni, where Loki is a single target damager and Agni is an AoE damager. So Loki is doing more damage to one target than Agni is doing to multiple targets. So Loki coming out very strong. Initiation actually follows the dash, surprisingly enough, but he's in a tough spot now that dragged him all the way into the enemy team, and Loki's still alive, ends up getting out there just in time. Agni very, very low here. Let's see if someone can come from the backside and try and pick him off. They might just disengage here as Loki's going to head on home. Tectonic Rift stops him from doing so. He blinks over the wall. Thor wants it so bad. He knows that they kill Loki, they win. Loki's going to disengage. He's intoxicated right now. Belch of the Gods comes out, gets a stun off on the Athena. Apollo up in the air, as you can see him from the distance, cheering his way across the sky. Going to dunk down actually on a camp and clear out the movement speed buff while they're fighting in front of the Fire Giant. And they're just going to go and disengage here. The Loki narrowly escaping, but the Agni did as well.
And we've had the gold difference more than made up now, as the gold has actually left Team Polar Bear and gone a little bit in favor of Team Loki. as they are picking up an 800 gold advantage. Tectonic Rift coming out from Thor, tries to get away. Chonga Ultimate's going to come out, putting a pretty good stun down on Apollo and Ra. Apollo trying to get away with the moves. He looks like he is going to be able to because Athena's doing a great job of tanking, making sure no one can escape. And there is the Athena Ultimate coming down on Ra, but he's not going to be able to dunk it on anybody. Everyone's kind of gathering around right now. Team Loki is all piled together, making sure they keep their forces moving as one unit to be led by their glorious Führer Loki into victory, as Team Polar Bear pulls back, looking like they might possibly go for Fire Giant. Now they're just going to go.
Team Loki. Athena and Ra are going to hang out in front of the Fire Giant buff here. They don't have division controls. Bacchus has been on that very aggressively. And in fact, it looks like this ward here is placed by the Thor as well. Athena's going to run by, but she doesn't have any wards on her person in order to pick that up. And surprisingly enough, Athena has yet to finish off Tier 3 Hand of the Gods, which would be the easiest way for them to secure objectives. In fact, Panda Bear has pulled ahead in the gold department as they're just destroying these team fights. But again, the objectives in the team fights are going to be the most important thing going forward. If they can kill a Loki or possibly fight a team fight without Loki again as they did before and not get so greedy, as Panda Bear takes away the Gold Fury, which puts their 1,000 gold lead down into about 2,500 and closes the gap on the experience lead, which of course at this point experience is worthless as everyone is level 20. So that gold is nominal, the experience is not important, the items are almost done, everything's on the line, and Panda Bear, they don't want to lose in the second round.
They definitely want to bring this on to round 3 and give themselves another option. Thor here getting cut out a little bit, but he's in no real danger because Loki is back at the base, so he just blinks away and kind of casually leaves the area. But now he needs to be careful because 4 members of Team Panda are all piled up in the mid lane here. Bacchus a bit out of position. Yeah, you're tanky, but he's not going to be able to eat the whole team because the whole team is bearing down on him while these 2 other guys float around in middle lane. And it looks like Thor is going to go up. What are they going to do here? Looks like Polar Bear might be going for some initiation. Loki stealths to get away. Belch of the Gods is unable to sniff him out there. Thor does go down on top of Hell and then blinks right back out, as we've seen him do quite a few times. I don't know. I guess he just wanted to use the damage from his ultimate. Loki coming in here, but a good ultimate doesn't matter. Team Loki manages to nuke down Agni before literally anyone can do anything. The Solar Blessing is down, and everyone's just kind of floating around. Loki stealth again, looking for an opportunity, but he can't find one. The Chonga ultimate only landing on 2 people there. Ra not really taking a ton of damage. Ra is sort of tanky at this point. He didn't really build a whole lot of tank items, but he's just got enough that he's able to eat Thor's damage. Because Thor's building a lot of tank items. He hasn't really built for a ton of face punch. Loki coming up from behind here. Who is he going to eat today? Who is going to instantly die? Nobody, because Loki's going to walk away, and because he left, his team is falling. Hell is down, and it looks like Athena is not in a good position right now, but they don't have anything to stop her with. Loki is going to go home. They're chasing down Athena. Everyone just running to the jungle after Athena right now.
Yeah, it looks like she might be able to disengage here. Bach is the only one still chasing. They're just going to go head on home. Athena actually might be caught here. Looks like Chonga is still in pursuit, but Loki's coming along. They need to be very, very careful here. If they try to dwindle too much in numbers and try to chase her down, they won't be able to do it. And Loki, of course, is looking for an opportunity to steal someone away. He has no wards or vision. He has one in front of the medium camp towards the middle lane. Looks like he puts one down and counters that ward. Good pickup there for the Loki. Bacchus is going to run into Apollo, who's just kind of hanging out in the enemy jungle. But, of course, overall, we saw an Agni exchanged for a Hell there in that middle engagement. That's going to keep it about pretty even, except 4,000 gold difference, but at this point is not really that important. Bach is going to win. Pop the Intoxicate actually forced Loki to disengage with his ultimate. A bit of an oversight there by Loki. He wasn't really pressured at all, and he had the vision to confirm that, but just did not want to get caught. He knows that if he dies here, it's going to be a possible loss for his team, because they're counting on his burst damage so much.
Absolutely. They cannot lose him. I mean, he is pretty much their team. You can see the ridiculous amount of warding going down the right jungle here by Team Panda. They can see everything. As Team Polar Bear kind of tries to regroup here. They got 4 members. Neith is cut out alone, though, against the Apollo. Neith taking a lot of damage. Apollo is tearing her down fast. She drops the Spirit Arrow and then runs away, but Apollo looks like he's going to go up with his ultimate, and Athena is ulting on top of him, so they're both going to dunk down. She manages to avoid the Athena, who drops down where he took off from, but she still gets torn down by that Apollo, and now Chonga is out by herself. They're just getting isolated one at a time here. Loki taking a lot of damage from that Mjolnir's attunement. Thor is going up. Is he going to go in? Probably not, because Loki's at full health because Hell heal. Hell's heals are nuts. And if, again, they don't have anyone there to prevent that healing. I mean, it's Neith and Agni. That's all they got. Neith and Agni have to be there to stop the hell healing, or they better burst somebody down immediately. Titanic Grip stopping any thoughts of a pursuit there, and they are just going to go ahead and disengage and regroup.
Looks like Athena might be able to catch out this Chunga if she dashes in close enough. The dash can come out soon. There's the dash, the taunt to come out soon. If she can avoid it with the 2, it might be enough to save her. She's very, very dead as Loki comes out and drops the bomb. Bacchus goes in and pops his ultimate. Now he's surrounded by 5 people. This may be a bit of an oversight here, and in fact, he does lose his life. Loki again dropping so much damage. 2 for 0. Now he jumps on top of the Oni. Aegis Salmon gets popped. He's going to get it or not. He does get the Oni. A triple kill, unofficial for the Loki with the physical pot and the pure penetration. Loki's going to go ahead and disengage. But at this point, 4 players are dead as Neith respawns. That's going to leave 3 players waiting on almost a minute timer. Agni does have a minute timer. This will be a Fire Giant for Panda Bear. They have pulled ahead in the kill advantage 28-27 at this 51.5 minute mark. The Fire Giant will go to them. Looking at the numbers, the graph, 5,500 gold now for Panda Bear as well as the Fire Giant. The damage, 34,000 player damage done by Thor. Contrast that with 35,000 for the Loki. Loki far and away the most damaging character in this entire game. And that is something that everyone can feel by watching these kills happen.
And here goes Thor up in the air, managing to get away from Loki and friends. But is he going to be able to dunk far enough to get the freedom? Yes, he is going to land down the middle lane. He is gone. He is out of there. He does not want to play anymore. He is going to go home as him and Neith regroup. Chunga has respawned now, so they have 3 people to try and hold this defense with. And they've already got 1 Phoenix down, and Team Panda is now grouping up to take down this middle Phoenix. I don't think they're going to be able to stop this from happening. Loki does have his ultimate, so there are only, with Bacchus up, everyone's back up, so it's going to be a 4v5 because Loki's going to instantly kill somebody as soon as the fighting starts. They're going in, Chunga ults a complete whiff. Bacchus tries to belly flop and misses everybody as they pull out. That is not good. I mean, that Chunga ult is huge, and completely whiffing it and hitting nobody is a big loss. Although Loki was forced to ult away, so his instantly murder somebody potential has been neutered for the time being. And Team Polar Bear needs to take this opportunity while Loki's ult is down to make something happen.
Well, they have the right lane and the middle lane streaming into the Minotaur. Of course, the Gold Fury is up and available. At this point, the only thing the Gold Fury will help is for consumables and for support tanks. Of course, Chunga and Bacchus, as well as Hel and Athena, have yet to finish their builds. In fact, Ra hasn't finished his either, surprisingly enough, though he's pretty close to Apollo's amount of gold. I don't know how much he has in hand. Looks like Ra has 1,000 gold in hand. Hel just picked up a Rod of Tahuti there, just getting her last item finished off. But overall, I mean, the gold is just going to help out consumable pickups as well as the support tanks. They're lagging a little bit behind in their builds. So at this point, it's just going to come down to really big engagements and placements. Now, the question is, can Polar Bear pick out the strategy that Panda Bear is implementing and see if they can counter it effectively? Of course, it comes down to the heals, but really Loki. I mean, if they can get Loki out of position and kill him off before anything happens, or possibly fight a team fight without him, they just need to be wary that Loki is always looking for opportunity to flank, and if they're out of position or they leave their squishies open, they will lose them. As Loki like he tries to go in on the Agni right now, he's probably going to use his ultimate to do it. There's initiation, and Agni will fall immediately. Thor dunks down on Loki. Loki might actually fall. No, the taunt comes out from Athena, keeping Loki alive. And Loki will survive to fight another day as he heads into the jungle. Initiation on top of the Apollo will probably cost him his life. Indeed, it does. So now it's a 4v4. But of course, as the numbers get lower and lower, Loki does reign supreme. In small numbers, Loki is a very difficult target to take down.
Well, Loki did have to go home because of all the damage Thor did to him. Almost able to pick up that kill, but not quite. And now, without their glorious leader to bring them into battle, Team Panda Bear is falling back hard. I mean, seriously, Loki has 19 kills. Their team has 29. Loki is 19 of their team's 29 kills. And 6 of the assists. 6 assists for the remaining 10 kills that he didn't personally get. I mean, seriously, to be straight up honest right now, if they can shut down Loki, if they can kill Loki and get him out of a fight, Polar Bear can probably win the game. They just really need to handle the Loki. The healing is annoying, the healing's a problem, but Loki is what is winning every single fight for them. They need to stop him. He doesn't have any tank items, not even a Void Blade to his name. So if they can get a couple, just a couple good abilities on him, a couple good nukes, they could very easily rip him down and rush in to secure the victory before he respawns.
Yeah, that's to me their point of focus now. Loki needs to play as carefully as he can and pick off the characters that he wants to pick off in a very efficient manner. Otherwise, Polar Bear will be able to punish that. And regardless of the gold difference at this point in the game, it just comes down to team fights and who's going to end up winning it overall. And you could definitely say at this point, Polar Bear is up all night to get Loki as they want to pick him off, and that's pretty much their entire prerogative here. Is they want to make sure that Loki is dead or off in some kind of distant land, because as long as he's alive, they have that threat of burst. And it's really one of the biggest aspects of Loki is not only his damage and burst, but also the fact that he has the deterrence factor. If you don't know where Loki is, you have this little tingling in the back of your neck. Or like, am I going to die the next second or not? So you definitely want to make sure that you not only have vision of him, but also make sure he's not part of the team fight.
Absolutely. As Apollo is over here split pushing, trying to get this last Phoenix down. Thor jumps in. There is the Neath ultimate as well, but Apollo just going to ult away to freedom and leave Athena behind. Athena's like, welp, nothing really here for me to do. I'm sorry, time to leave. Just getting dumped down in hostile territory and casually walking away as Thor pulled back for fear of imminent Lokis. As you were saying, they currently don't. Actually, they do now probably see that he is on the right side of the map. Both Phoenixes have respawned for Team Polar Bear, and the lanes are pushed out far enough that they will be able to keep them alive against the last few waves of fire minions. So the Phoenixes are back up. Polar Bear is still totally in this game. The gold advantage is pretty much almost completely and totally irrelevant, as basically everybody's builds are all finished here. We do have a couple spots where people could be picking up active items, which right now, I mean, a couple good active items could really turn this game around. I mean, giving an Aegis to survive a Loki burst or whatever, a girdle, because I mean, neither team has got a girdle available. They could definitely help. Here is Loki going in, trying to get the Neath, but he gets cut out. The Raw Beam hits Chunga in the face, and she's forced to dance away. Ult instantly kills Agni in literally one hit. As Apollo is torn down the back, the Chunga ultimate's coming out. The Loki's dropping so very, very low. They're trying to chase him down. Are they going to be able to catch this? He's going to get away. They can't finish him off. They have nothing. The Gem of Isolation, Divine Blessing, Thor wants this more badly than anything he's ever gotten in his life, but Loki is just going to get away with the smallest fragment of health there. So unfortunately, Thor unable to pick up the deicide, and now he's going to be forced to ult out of there to make sure he stays alive, but they do have 3 very easily pickable random people that aren't Loki they could possibly turn around and kill with this opportunity.
Yes, they're going to go ahead and almost get the Loki. I mean, Loki just escapes so narrowly, which is surprising because he has no defensive items to boot. I think Polar Bear Litz needs to just put themselves in a semi-aggressive position and just wait for Loki. Just put a trap, a bear trap on the ground, pun intended there, making sure that as soon as Loki shows up, they all react immediately. And if they can kill Loki at this point, that's all they need to do. Loki is sitting on 24,000 personal gold. That is 4,000 gold up individually over the most farmed person on Polar Bear. So he's just doing so well, and if they can kill him, they can definitely win the team fight. Initiation comes out here. Loki is still here. The burst damage is going to come out. Looks like Athena ultimate is going to do some damage in AoE there. Jumping on the Chang'e pretty soon here. There is Initiation. Uses the 2 to avoid it. Does he have his ultimate available to him? He does. Decides not to use it. There's Belch the God's going to stun him out. The Hammer comes out, and the Toxic comes out, finishing off the Loki. They did it. They finally did it. The Searing Pain comes out, and now they're trying to come in this. Can they make this happen, or will Panda Bear fall? The damage overtime effect does finish off the Raw. Loki is dead. Raw is dead. Neath ultimate lands up at the Hell. The Hell's probably going to get picked off here as well if they get a stun up. There's the stun from the Agni. The Flame Wave to follow up. They get the Hell. That's a 3-0 exchange in the right lane. Polar Bear may be able to push this in for the win, or will they go for the Fire Giant? But at least they don't have to stay up any longer to get Loki. And now they're going to go for the Fire Giant buff and possibly try to end this game.
Look at all the GGs in chat. The instant Loki goes down. GGs left, right, and center. That was the instant deicide taking down their entire team by killing Loki. Fire Giant getting picked up by Team Polar Bear now, who has, what do they got? They have 25 seconds to do as much pushing as they can before the Führer comes back and tries to murder everybody. So they need to get in here. They need to make something happen. Thor forced to go home defend his Phoenix, but 3 members, Agni, Chang'e, and Bacchus pushing through here. Agni decides it really looks like a good time to do a Fury camp while they have Fire Giant and 3 members of Team Panda Bear are down. Decide to go back and get some minions because I guess Bacchus forgot he's a tank. So they're going to go ahead and regroup. And now Loki is back up. So the question is, will they be able to make anything happen again? As Athena is just kind of like standing here considering the dead Fire Giant. Now she's just sort of standing there in disbelief. Looks like they're going to try to go in on her, but they're not really going to have anything to effectively chase her down with.
Belchagaz comes out for the Bacchus. They definitely had an opportunity. I think if they rushed the base, they probably could have been able to kill the Minotaur there. There wasn't a whole lot that Apollo or Athena could have done to stop them besides a taunt or possibly some basic attack. So definitely could have at least got a Phoenix or two, but just a lack of hustle coming out here from Polar Bear. They have the opportunity. Loki was dead, and now they're back in a situation where they're afraid of Loki coming out here. So let's go ahead and watch this team fight unfold. Loki's in the backside looking for opportunity to come in here. Apollo's going to drop quite low. Loki's going to come in. Who's going to go on is the question. Thor's up in the air. Agni's going to be his first target, most likely. No, he goes on the Chang'e, as you can see, doing a little backflip there, trying to burst on the Chang'e. Chang'e's still alive. Damage up, comes the Thor dunk, as well as a huge turnaround, a triple kill for Thor, as Thor makes the fight impossible for Panda Bear. There is the root. Athena does the best that she can. But before too much happens, let's re-watch that for justice. Thor goes up into the air. The team fight seems to be a bad opportunity as Loki goes on top of the Chang'e. Watch the initiation come. They're looking so great. Now it's 4v2. They think they have it. Loki's at half HP. Chang'e about to die. The Chang'e ultimate into the Thor ultimate. Berserker Barrage as well as the ultimate from Agni will be enough to do all this damage, and a triple kill instantaneously will force them to die. And now Athena will meet the same fate at the cruel hands of the Thor turnaround.
And that's pretty much, I feel like, with a 4-for-0 exchange there and the entirety of a Fire Giant and Angry Polar Bear at the front gate here, this little random not Loki does not really have any ability to stem the tide of Polar Justice coming through. And after Thor dunked down and got the deicide and also killed 2 other people, I mean, there's really no coming back from that. This Minotaur is just getting trashed on, and at the end of the day, this is going to be the victory for Team Polar Bear.
You see the Minotaur falling here, and all the members of Polar Bear standing around as the Minotaur crashes into the dirt. They will be the victors of 4,000 gems. Of course, 800 gems per person. Now, of course, Panda Bear is not out of it. They will get 400 gems a piece as well. Total of 2,000 gems for the overall victory there. So it looks like that's going to be the end of this second round, and they will be first place winners. Let's look at the stats here. The first thing I want to look at is going to be the healing done. We see Hell sitting about 30,000 healing done. Raw 24,000. But Chang'e sits over there laughing at 47,500 healing done herself. But keep that in mind when you look at 33,000 healing. Not only did Chang'e do 17,000 more healing than the Hell, she also did 12,000 more damage. Chang'e is such a well versatile character. I mean, she could do both damage and healing. We see Neith dropping out 37,000 damage herself, 43,000 damage done by the Agni. Thor doing 45,000. You look at the enemy team. I mean, Loki did 40,000, but keep in mind he did this all to a single target throughout the entire tournament. I mean, the damage output was so high, and Loki held on as long as he could, 23 and 6, but it just wasn't enough to keep them alive forever.
As soon as Polar Bear got together the kill Loki and then deal with other people's strategy, I mean, you really saw it start to turn around. They focused on that Loki. Loki was building so hard just for raw damage. Like I said, not even a Void Blade to his name. Literally nothing. Let me look through. Yeah, not a single point of protection other than the default that comes in with existing as a character in Smite. I mean, nothing at all. He was going full glass cannon, and it worked until Polar Bear sniffed out his game. He was just, the assassination was so strong, and that is absolutely how you Loki. We did see him at the end there sell his Heartseeker and pick up the Deathbringer instead, which was a very powerful pickup, and it might have been a better idea to pick up something like a Bulwark, something that would have kept him alive through those last 2 or 3 team fights, possibly through that last explosion of justice that was the Chang'e Hammer Meteor dunk of everything that landed on the entire team. And that was the best combination of ultimates I have ever seen show up I mean, all 3 of those, Hammer Dunk, Chang'e Ultimate, Agni Meteor, hit everybody. That just game over. Just right there. That was GG.
Even if I was the losing team, I wouldn't be mad because that engagement was so flawless. We saw Thor up in the air, it was 4v2, and they were low. Chang'e just got initiated on. She was about to fall. She turns, goes to the outside of the team fight, throws out her ultimate, and hits all 4 of them, stunning them for a very long period of time. Of course, Chang'e's ultimate stuns longer the more you hit. She hits all 4 of them. Then the meteor goes up in the air as Thor comes down with it. A dunk, tectonic rift, berserker barrage, flame wave, and all of a sudden the 4v2 turns into Athena running like a chicken for her life because all of her friends are dead. Incredible engagement there, and that is exactly what ended it. Loki knew he had to get very aggressive to pick off. He wanted the Chang'e, but Thor just turned it around. Thor was low HP as well, could have gone home or disengaged, but decided, you know what? I'm going to turn this teamfight around, and that's one of the reasons why Thor gets banned out himself, is his teamfight ultimate is so powerful, and probably, at least I personally think, one of the biggest turnaround ultimates in the entire game, as well as the follow-up that follows after him. You have the Tectonic Rift, you have the Berserker Barrage, and the way to blink out or do damage with the backswing of the Mjolnir's Attunement. I mean, it's so hard to predict and deal with a Thor ultimate because it can turn a team fight around instantaneously and put it in your favor there. But overall, that is going to be the Code Green Tournament NA edition, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This was a best of 3 series. Polar Bear wins it in 2 games very, very quickly.
And so I'd say a mixture of really, really focusing on improving your own play, as well as streaming and just trying to get your name out there, is probably the best way to enter the competitive scene. I got pretty lucky because I got picked up for the Smite Games channel, and I just happened to be streaming at the time when someone from the Smite Games channel left. I can't remember who it was.